Thank you for joining Right as Rain Crochet. Today we're going to be making this really cute hand towel, wash rag, and scrubby set. This is a wonderful, wonderful idea for a gift. Every single person can use wash rags and towels, and it's really cute and handmade, and you can really get creative with it. The yarn needs to be 100% cotton. Whatever you're doing, any kind of wash rags or bathroom scrubbers or loofahs, hand towels needs to be 100% cotton. I just get these big spools like this, and then I mix and match colors so that the towel and the hand rags aren't exactly the same. And then this is just some scrubby yarn, of course, that I get that will look cute with the set that I'm working with. I use the Red Heart Scrubby. You can use whichever one you want, and I will go over this as well at the end of the video. But what we're going to go ahead and do now is just focus mainly on the wash rag itself. This is also a really great project for a beginner because you can do this in your single crochet, your half double, or your double crochet, and really get good at your stitch. This is a good way to practice because even if it doesn't look that great or you missed your turning chains and it kind of got crooked, you can keep it for a wash rag and it's yours. So I know that I don't like doing swatches. It drives me crazy because I don't feel like I'm getting anything done. And I don't like pulling things out. I don't like wasting my yarn. So when you're just practicing, this is a really good project to get started and have consistency so that your stitches look symmetrical like you see here on this swatch. This is how your swatch should look before you start a project. Or you will do a whole lot of work and a lot of hours and you are not going to be happy with the way it turned out because you don't have consistency yet in your stitches. So just to save you the money, the heartbreak, and potentially just giving up on crochet altogether, this is, again, a really good project to go ahead and get started with. So I have my cotton yarn that I'm using. I personally am like a 5mm hook. I don't want it too tight so that it's not a malleable piece, but I don't want it too loose either because I want it to be absorbent. I want it to do its job. If you're using a smaller cotton yarn, then find out get your needle and find out what it is that is going to make you feel comfortable and you're going to get the look that you want. And of course, we're going to need a needle and we're going to need scissors. So we're going to go ahead and start with our chain. And we are going to chain 27. I'll move this out of the way. Now to the chain. We know it's important that our chain is not done too tight. If you are a tight crocheter or you feel like you are doing this too tight or you are doing this too tight, just jump up a hook size. A lot of people do it because they can't crochet loose. So that is kind of a little secret there is just get a bigger hook, do your chain, and then pull back the hook that you want to do your project with. So I'm going to go ahead and finish crocheting the 27, and I will meet you right back here. Okay, so I've got my 27 crocheted. You can do this any length you want, whatever size, and of course it's going to be a lot bigger for the hand towel. But you want to go ahead and start with an odd number. Because of our one turning chain, it's going to make it even. So we are going to be crocheting even numbers, but we needed to have that +1 for our turning chain. So from here, we're going to go ahead and go across. We're going to go to the second chain. Once we've completed our chain, we are going to single crochet, and they call it the third loop or the back bump, and that's where we're going to turn this here. And we're going to go into the single stitch that is on the back side. We're actually crocheting on the back side of the project, and it is right here. Now I have fought doing this for so many years because I didn't like it taking the extra time. I just wanted to jump in and get that project completed. And now I really enjoy it. It is not necessary on a lot of projects. But for example, I don't, with this wash rag set, I do not like doing a border around the wash rags. I think that the sides have to be too stretched. I don't like the stitches. They just don't look as good as it does with it just being the way that it is. And here we are reaching in this back bump. But if you're going to do a border on any project, this really isn't necessary because you'll be covering up these stitches, the stitches anyway, which your chain stitches anyway with your border. So you don't need to spend that extra time doing it. But I don't like the border. I've done the border on these rags and these towels and the scrubby. I just like it better this way. So that's something that you guys will have to determine. And I'm going to go ahead and meet you back here once I'm done with this, so you can kind of see the difference and what the finished product is going to look like once we get this single crochet in the third loop or the back bump completed, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this rag here, I did not crochet in the back bump, and this is how the chain looks, right? It looks like any other project you've done that you've just chained. But when you crochet in the back bump, it actually ends up looking like this. Like it looks exactly the end of your product stitch is what the front of your product, the beginning row of your product stitch looks like. So you actually have the V right there. Can you see that? And that they look the same, and that's what that back bump does. It's really, really neat, and it's a nice clean look. And as you can tell, this here looks a little flat. It doesn't have this same look as we have on this side, and I like this look, so that's why I don't do the borders. But this is a much nicer look on your project, so that way both sides of your projects are going to look the same when you crochet on that back bump. Okay, so something else while I have you guys here real quick before we move on is I wanted to talk to you guys about this dye that it runs, the color on these run. It's really apparent, really going to be visible for something that's this dark. Or a brown, reds, the greens, a little bit. They do it a little bit. So it's just something that you might want to forewarn the person you're giving the gift to, that when they get it wet and they wring it out, they're going to see some red. It's just going to happen. I personally have soaked these in vinegar and washed them so that I could set the dye so that it would not do it as a gift. And I got to tell you, I was not happy with it. It's once you wash something and you dry it, it's clean, but it's not, it looks like it's been washed. Just like any wash rag, new rag you would buy from the store, the minute you wash it, it shrinks, it's not as brilliant. So in the beginning, I washed all of my items that I sold or that I gave to people because I wasn't extremely comfortable yet with knowing that my stuff would not unravel. And ironically, nothing of mine has ever unraveled when I washed it. So I said, okay, how about I just stop washing them so that they look new and crisp. I don't believe that these will ever like stain a load. Of course, don't put a red rag in a white load. But common sense. But I don't think people have to like wash it by itself or anything like that. You just might let them know. And I've had family members that have used my rags for years, and it doesn't bother them that they have a little bit of running in the beginning. They truly love the rags and the hand towels. So I just wanted to get that in there before I forgot, and we kept moving on with our project. We look good. We have consistency. It looks sharp. So now we're going to chain one, and we're going to turn our work. Now here's where the pattern is going to change, and this is going to stay now from here on out. The whole rest of your project is going to be this exact same pattern. Very simple, very easy to do with a really nice looking result. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be crocheting and then double crocheting. So there's our single, and then we're going to come here and we do our double. When we go back down with our third stitch or our second single crochet, what this is going to do is it's going to pull down this double crochet, and it's actually going to stick out just a little bit. That's going to give us some texture on our wash rag. So we are going to be alternating back and forth, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet. And we're going to do this in all 26 stitches. You should have 26 stitches every row. You should not have to count your stitches. This is a great project. You never have to go back and count because you are going to know that you crocheted this correctly. And here in just a minute, I will explain to you how you are going to know this. And sometimes it's easier for people to count 1, 2, 1, 2 while they crochet. So they know that 1 is the single crochet and 2 is the double crochet, to help just keep them on track so they don't accidentally just start crocheting all single crochets or double crochets. I have a tendency to do that. I zone out and I let my muscle memory take over. And once in a while, that muscle memory enjoys going crazy and just making up its own stuff. So, or you can go little, big, even, odd. Even's always going to be one single one. It's going to be down. Odd is going to be the top. Change it up if you need to. But what's nice is that when you're saying stuff, you're not focusing on it, but your mind will actually catch you if you're doing something that is against what you're saying out loud. And your mind will go, wait a minute. And you'll look down and realize, yeah, I was doing this. And I was still saying 1 and 2, but I was only doing 1. It's funny how your mind works like that. So here we are at the end. We got our last 2 stitches. We are always going to end up on a double crochet, right? Because we have even stitches. So that's how it's going to work. We always land on a double for the last stitch. We're going to chain. We're going to turn our work. And our first stitch is always going to be a single crochet. Here we are, just like that. So you're not going to have to count. You're not going to mess up. It's a very great, easy pattern. And like I said, it's really good for beginners because it doesn't take a lot of, we have no other rows to memorize. We have 1 row. We have 2 stitches repeated over and over. It's going to be a lot easier. So, and as you go, if you mess something up, something else that's really nice about this pattern is that your single crochet is always going to be the one that's up here. If you can see that right here. And then your double crochet actually has a bigger hole like this. So here's our single up here and our double goes down there. So it also, if by chance you're not going 1, 2, up, down, you know, even, odd, whatever it is that you're just not doing anything and you let your muscle memory do it. So you don't have to even be saying anything out loud or in your brain, is that this bigger one here, like that, is always going to be a double crochet. And your single, you're barely going to be able to see it. So that's also great because, again, it's a wonderful project because you can really just sit down, watch TV, listen to TV, actually is pretty much what it is, and then glance up. And we're just going to go back and forth. Do not forget to chain 1. When we turn, that is very, very important. That you do not do that. This is what happens when you forget to chain 1 and your work all of a sudden shoots up, and it's very, very distinctive. That is unfortunately the #1 problem that beginning crocheters have, is the forgetting to chain 1, or perhaps not getting their stitch in the last stitch here. They're forgetting it or skipping it. So again, great pattern, because you know you're going to end on a double crochet, which in this case would be way back here, and you're not going to miss that you have 2 more stitches to do there. I do not have set rows that I do on this because it's really hard for me to count these rows. As you can see in this one, I cannot tell where a row is or isn't. So I actually just pretty much measure it. If I'm making a set of these, a bunch of them all at one time, like as Christmas gifts for everybody, I will make one and it will be like my template. And then as I make this, I will use this to refer off of. That way, if you decide to mix and match your rags with different towels than what you intended on in the beginning, then you know that your rags are going to be the same. So this wash rag is going to be the same size as this wash rag. And the same with the hand towels. You can do these any sizes you want. Again, like I said, just make sure your chain, you're going to start with an odd number, because you're going to be crocheting the even numbers once you have that turning chain. So now I'm going to go ahead and just let you guys go to town on this, and I will jump back on here in a little bit, and I can tell you, I'm not even telling you how many rows, because I'm not even going to put that on you guys to try to keep track of how many rows you guys are going to want to do. The wash rags I try to make square, so if you want to go ahead and just measure, then you know, okay, well, I want this is going to be almost 8 inches long. But again, once you get one done, I like it as a template. That way I'm not pulling this out. I'm not worrying, I just lay it down. I'll set it on my lap or the footstool. I'll lay it down and I'll lay my work right on it. And it gives me the confidence. And I don't have to reach over and grab something else. And I hate reaching for things. So anyway, okay, well, I will meet you guys back here in a little bit. I will be able to get this thing done, and then we will see what we do from there. All right, good luck. All right, well, we have completed our wash rag, and I went ahead and sewn the ends in. It's nice, isn't it? And it feels really good too. Again, I don't like doing a border. If you're a big border fan, go ahead and put one around. I just don't like the way that they have to grab in here. It's just too small of a project. If it was a big blanket or something that people wouldn't notice it as, it wouldn't be as obvious, perhaps, yes, but I just like it like this. So the wash rag, we do add 26. Chain 27, 26 stitches. The hand towel, I chained 41 and did 40 stitches, single crochet, double crochet, same exact pattern as we've been working on the washcloth. Again, you just do this as long as you want this to be. Some people like smaller hand towels, some people like larger. I tried to kind of go off of one of the kitchen towels that I had in the house that I was already kind of used to using. Now, when we get to the scrubber, it's just a tad bit different. So the scrubber, I chained 21, one, of course, being my turning chain. So it's going to be 20 stitches across. This is not an easy, it is easy and it's not. You cannot see your stitches. You have to feel your stitches. But it's so pokey that it's okay if you miss. You just need to make it up. These are only going to be single crochets across here. I do not do, I don't need that lift of the double crochet, so I only do very loosely single crochet. Unfortunately, on your scrubby, you are going to need to count every single row, but it only takes maybe 15 minutes to do this. So it's not that hard, that big of a deal counting 20. If you end up being short somewhere, go back a little bit, go ahead and increase in one stitch and follow through, but you need to have 20 stitches so that your project is going to come out looking symmetrical. Some people fold this over and they like to crochet around so that it's a thicker scrubber, so it's thick like this. I like it open. I use the green scrubbers you buy at the grocery store as my template, and I do like that they're thinner. I like it makes it a little bit more malleable. You can really get in there with it versus like this where you don't really have a lot of material to hone on to when you're working. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and all your family members get kitchen towel sets for Christmas or their birthdays. Again, thank you for watching Right as Rain Crochet. If you have any questions or comments, please message me. And of course, please like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you and good luck.